the representation in history. First, let's define what is the representation of history is all about. It is the process of giving meaning to the past events through cultural values, norms, hopes, fears, and orientations. It involves the relationship between the past and the present, which can be perceived as the chain of events or as an interpretation. So, here's some other things to know about representation in history. First, the extradisciplinary representations. Most cultures have narrative representations of origins, such as myths, religions, legends, or ideologies. These representations help collectives orient themselves in time and give meaning to the present. Second is the disciplinary forms of representation. History as an academic discipline has its own disciplinary forms of representation. However, these forms often compete with extradisciplinary representations. Third is the historical representation is aesthetic. Some says that historical representation is essentially aesthetic, but its adequacy can be discussed rationally. Fourth is the representation in government. In representative governments, citizens elect deputies to represent them and shape legislation and policy. Elected representatives are less likely to be swayed by political positions than the people, which can provide stability and continuity to the government. Women in the Philippine history. One characteristic of Philippine history and society that has been constant in various periods since the Spanish colonization was gender inequality. Since the colonization of the country by Europeans, patriarchy became the norm. Patriarchy is a social system where men hold more power compared to women. This system had various manifestations in different aspects of society and culture. It affected important institutions in different aspects of society and culture, and affected important institutions like family, religion, government, education, and mass media. Next is the ancient Philippine societies, were generally described as gender egalitarian. Men and women were both recognized as equally valuable members of the society that were tasked to perform different but equally indispensable tasks.
So, I'm going to discuss the Babaylan in the Philippine history. In Visayan, they call it Babaylan, and in Tagalog, they call it Katalunan. Serve as an essential role in the multiple phases of the ancient Philippine society, including the spiritual leader and community's healer. Babaylan, she was in charge of prescribing indigenous cures either through medicinal herbs or spiritual interventions. An ancient photoscientist who was well versed with indigenous astronomy and recommended the best time to plant and harvest, believed to be the only one capable of reading the wishes and displeasures of the Diwatas and Anitos. Arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century, the Babaylan, the place would be altered, limiting the sphere of her activity in the domestic sphere of the household, displaced from the pedestal of social, cultural, and spiritual and economic importance, painted as heathen and satanic, accused of being mangkukulam or manggagaway. The role of the spiritual leader was transferred to the fairs, and the native women's bodies were also repressed. The repression manifests in how women were expected to cover their legs and feet with tapis and saya, and their upper bodies with multiyard. Upper garments consist of bodies or camisa and the other manguel. Years after the Spanish colonization, women are still expected to be limited in the domestic sphere. The expectation for women to be subordinate to men remained unchanged despite the universal public instruction implemented by the Americans. Take decades before women are allowed to vote and run for public office, political equality did not apply to women until 1937, and cultural assimilation was also apparent and most successful in how the standards of beauty imposed on Filipino women were patronized. In times of strife and war, as in World War II, women suffered differently and more severely as they were subjected not only to violence, hunger, and death, but also to sexual abuse. These comfort women became victims of sexual slavery in the Japanese comfort stations. Most of them choose to keep quiet for decades because of the shame and guilt that they feel about being raped and abused. 7 decades since the war ended, these women, most of them already dead, are yet to be given justice.
Moros in Philippine history. The word Moro in the context of Philippine history begins with basic Spanish history that tells us of the Moorish rule at Spain from 711 to 1492. Moorish because most of those who governed Spain were from Morocco, North Africa, just a stray away from Granada. Moro was not an indigenous name of the inhabitants of Mindanao who were Islamists, but one of that was misappropriated to them by the Spanish. In the collection of Blair and Robertson, the word Moros does appear in the 53 volumes as index, although sometimes the Spaniards are used of Mahometan Spaniards, been delayed all the people would have been Moors, as are all the Islander who has not come under the government of the Philippines. It has to be understood that before the coming of the Spaniards, there were inhabitants in the Philippines who chose to accept Islam, a faith brought into the country via trade in the 13th to the 14th century. They beyond the different ethno-linguistic groups, the major ones being the Tausog of Sulu, Sama of Tawi-Tawi, Yakan of Basilan, Maranao of Lanao, and Maguindanao of Maguindanao. The image that they paint of the Moro consists of warlike peoples, barbarians, uncivilized, unruly, among others. Olaria Velarde described Muslims in Mindanao as tenacious in their errors and faithful to their words, traitors to the dealings, discriminating with regard to what is convenient to them, and fearless in war rather than various they are rash. The smarter Americans were not so careless as to continue this fiction upon their arrival. They planned to let the Moro and trail along the Lumans into American rule through nonviolent means, one of which was education. A concrete example would be the establishment of a normal school in the capital of Moroland, Zamboanga, as early as 1904, preceding even the University of the Philippines in 1908. 8 normal schools were then established in the Philippines by the Americans. One of them was the Zamboanga Normal School established in 1904. Americans recognized the power of education to control the minds of these young Moro children. But Moros, as they were, they resist their attempts, even hiding their children in closets, when the Americans would check houses and obligate children to attend school. The Americans inherited from the Spaniards what historian Najib Salabay would later coin in 1913 as the Moro problem, which centered on how to integrate the Moros into the Philippine body politic. Within the period of a few months in 1926, more than 20 schoolhouses around Lake Lanao were burned to the ground, and the education system of the province practically put out of mission. There are school districts in Lanao today which the division superintendent of schools, an American, cannot safely visit without an escort of soldiers. Many Moros refuse to secure titles to their land as required by law, or to pay taxes. A deadly triangle of hatred and intrigue has grown up between Filipinos, Moros, and Americans. Conditions are less secure in the other Moro provinces. But everywhere, those Moros who at heart wish to expel the Filipino and root out his civilization. UP instructor Norm Miswari, who first used the term Moro to mean something positive when he used it to name the splinter group, Moro National Liberation Front, or MNLF, in 1972. The Islamic concept of Ummah or community was encapsulated in the term Bangsa or national, hence Bangsa Moro. History from below is a movement that intends to veer away from the traditional focus of historical research and to focus on the past of the mass and the ordinary people. At various points in time, women has been represented according to the social structures and institutions that dominate a particular era. The Moras were indigenous people of the Philippines who adopted the Islamic faith and have been misrepresented in historical texts that added to the misunderstanding and distortion of their image and present.